Hey guys, thanks again for watching. Today I just wanted to do a video about humility. I've been watching a lot of uh, Gary Vee and his whole thing, and the more you get into his content, the more you realize he's really about like patience and humility, which you wouldn't get from like probably a lot of the sort of interviews and stuff that he has because he's super high energy and stuff, and swears a lot. So you associate things, but yeah, I think they're super important things. I've always sort of valued humility growing up, and yeah, I think it's really important, and I think especially these days with the sort of younger people, um, that's something that's lacking a lot. I know that I mostly would have got that from my grandparents. They are very like they're very humble people, and they're very like they're just everything that they do in their lives was just a great example, really. So, anyways, I'll just get right back into it. So, one of the examples that I wanted to bring forward with that is, I've done a lot of volunteer jobs in my life. Some of them was just because of working with something that I believe in for whatever cause that I wanted to help. Sometimes it was I actually had to pay to volunteer. Like when I went to the Galapagos, I worked on a conservation. I had to pay to be there, even though I was working. Um, and there are other jobs like nowadays. There's a lot more jobs where you volunteer in exchange for like accommodation, room and board type thing. And I've met a lot of people who do this volunteer in exchange for room and board who are very entitled and really put little to no effort into the work that they do. And I think that just speaks to this sort of idea that, like, I don't really care about this job. I'm too smart. I'm too good for this job, basically. And a lot of people have that even with sort of minimum wage jobs, like if you're working at like fast food or something, and it's just like, it's the only job that you can get. You don't care about it, so you don't care if you do a good job, whatever. And I just think this is a really kind of a mentality problem. And a lot of people are thinking, I have bigger goals in mind and I want to do better, like more with my life. So who cares about this job of, whatever fast food place or whatever it may be. But what you have to understand is that when you are working for money or for in exchange for something or even for nothing, um, it's really important to do your best. Like I don't want to like it sounds really cheesy, but that's pretty much it. Like if you are constantly just oh, there's the woodpecker. If you're just constantly sort of half-assing it all the time, that's just sort of your default mode. And then when it really matters and you have to work your hardest isn't going to be a lot. It's going to be probably the average. But you're going to feel like you're working so hard because you're used to doing pretty much nothing. So yeah, so my advice is with humility is to just like when you have jobs, even when they're unpaid, when they're volunteer or whatever, to really just appreciate you where you are, what you have, and what you have to be grateful for. Because like in the end, I've done a lot of cleaning jobs and stuff like that, and especially when it's with volunteers or with people who are just really unhappy with their jobs. I mean, who wants to be a housekeeper for their profession? Probably not a lot of people. But if that's where you are, the end of the day, the goal is to clean the room or whatever, make it like as do it as well as you can. And I just know so many people who are like, oh, I don't really care they don't even want to like learn the job really because they're too good for it. They're overqualified. They're waiting for a real job. It's like, yeah, okay, but you're saying how easy this job is, but you can't even do it properly. Like you're just looking like you're sweeping, but then the whole floor is still dirty after you've done sweeping the whole thing, or like you're not like how difficult is it to learn how to mop properly? Probably not a lot, but the fact that you don't care about it means you're going to do a very shit job, and then like what's the point? You're going to take the same amount of time to do a good job as to do a bad job. So why not just not be a complete useless human being and like, I don't know, put an effort in. But yeah, so I don't know. I've done a lot of like sort of these kind of jobs, and a lot of people that I work with who have this sort of lazy attitude. Like it's not just about you. You're thinking you're better than the job, but when you've got other people you're working with and you're being lazy and not really doing it, then the other people have to pick up your slack. So not only are you half-assing it, but you're making your peers suffer for it, and you don't even care. Like these are other human beings. It's not just about cleaning the floor. It's about like caring, giving a shit. This is humility. Um, so you're not entitled to like, even if you have a really good education and you feel like you've worked really hard in school or whatever, that doesn't mean you're better than anyone. And even if this is job or volunteer gig or whatever isn't your goal or life purpose, just work hard anyways. Just do your best. Like, how hard is that? That's just like something I think a lot of people are missing in their lives. Like, uh, and just try to like know what you're actually doing. Like, give a shit. I don't know. Yeah, there's an example that I wanted to bring up from Lisa Nichols. She's talking about going on Oprah, and she stays at one of the hotels. And then her grandma is talking about how she should leave the room clean for when the housekeeper comes, because her grandma used to be a housekeeper at hotels. Anyways, it's this whole story about like basically you think you've made it, whatever, you think you're big shit, but like you're no better than any of the other people around you. So if you think you are, that's kind of bullshit. Yeah, I just think that you can be proud of your accomplishments, but there's a difference between having like a pride, in like an ego narcissism type thing, and just being like, oh wow, look at, I worked really hard to do this, and that's great, and I'm glad that it happened, versus being like, well, now I'm better than everyone, so like there's a big difference there. Um, Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Just like not even just with work, but like if you're going to the restaurant or, any of these people who have these low service jobs, they're making like very little money, and they're especially when they're trying to do their best, they're bringing you your food or your drink or whatever. Just say thank you. Like they're a person as well. Don't just, I don't know. You don't need to be rude to them or whatever. Like I see so many people like treating people like garbage just because they think they're better than them, and it's this entitlement that's sort of prevalent in society. And I just yeah, I don't know, that's just sort of my video about that. I think try to be humble, try to work hard, even if you're not where you want to be, say thank you. Like it's not hard. I don't know. What do you think? Make a comment. I don't know, subscribe to my channel or not, then hopefully I'll see you again.